Well, family, here we go. Once again, I'm going to have a few words for you guys. It's become a tradition where I speak to you. Um, Unfortunately, it seems to be more and more through the videos than me being there. Um, I'm going to try and work on that. I know it really sucks not being able to be there with you guys. Just I mean, the way things are nowadays, we just can't always make that trip. But just know that I love you all, and you guys are definitely in my heart, and I'm always thinking about you. Um, this year, I'm going to kind of go into a little bit of a different realm of what I normally do. Um, but it all comes full circle. It's all pretty much relative. You know, I think that a lot of times, we start thinking about Christmas time, and we get focused on what just this part of the season is about. And it is about family, and it's about love, and it's about faith, and that's all good. But I think that one thing that we need to remember is that, you know, our lives are like the seasons. And we go through the seasons, and they are just like our life. We go through our lives just like that. When we're young, it's like spring, and we're vibrant and whatnot. And in summer and fall, we start to get in our later years, and in our winter, where things are a little bit colder. Uh, I think a lot of us right now in our family, you know, the general consensus of our family, are in our fall and in our winter. And so, that being said, our character and the way that we react to things have become maybe a little colder. And our vibrance, our exuberance from our younger days may have waned a little bit. And this is evident in our words. The way we speak to each other, uh, or maybe even the lack of words that we have for each other. You know, uh, we might not tell each other that we love each other as much as we used to. We might not say, hey, good job, or give that good pat on the back, or say, hey, I appreciate this. You know, Sometimes those things go unsaid, and they're every bit as damaging as telling somebody, hey, that was not very nice of you, or just not being considerate. So in a world of political correctness, everybody being afraid to say what's really on their minds, uh, I think that we got actually some of the opposite, where people will say things that are like so offensive to someone else and say it without like any remorse at all. Uh, Sometimes the way we talk to our family, our friends, our employers, cashiers or somebody at the movies, waiters, waitresses, any public servant. You know, Sometimes when we have a disagreement or maybe a difference of opinion, we're really cold-hearted and brutal. And there's definitely a difference between brutal honesty and being mean-spirited. You know, uh, I see a lot of parents nowadays, with their kids, and the relationship between them and their kids is so strained that anytime they communicate, it's tense. It's filled with anger and frustration, from both sides. Now, and I know sometimes kids are kids, and you know, you might have to be a little more blunt, you know, because maybe they're hard headed, you know, maybe they don't listen to you, you know, for whatever reasons, you know. Kids nowadays, you know, tend to have a very short attention span, and so like when you tell them something, you know, you might have to tell them 4 or 5 times, and then you get angry, and you know, so sometimes you know you want to be a little bit more forceful just to get their attention because you feel you don't have their attention. Uh, Chances are, you know, being confrontational and derogatory are not the answer. It's not gonna work. You know, I know, speaking from uh, my personal experience, when I was a child, whenever it got to that tone, you know, where it was just like, oh man, here we go. Um, I would shut that out. You know, I felt like, you know, you don't hear me, I'm not gonna hear you. Um, you know, I've been burned all over my body from hot grease, boiling soup. I've been burned by fireworks. Uh, I've been cut all over, you know, from work. I got stabbed in the chest, you know, with a pair of hemostats when I was younger. I've had my arm almost cut off, um, you know, by a plate glass window from a door. You know, I've been hit by a car when I was a child, smashed up by 2 semis, rear-ended, T-boned several times. All of these injuries, all the pain that I have sustained in my life, all these scars that I have from accidents and fights and work and whatever, they got nothing on the pain from another source. And that's words. You have to be careful what you say to people. You got to be careful how you treat them because, you know, a cut, you can stitch it up. A burn, you know, it's going to heal up. Broken bone's going to mend. But, you know, spiteful words and treating somebody badly and saying things in a tone and just being spiteful, taking their feelings for granted, abusing their psyche and toying with their emotions, all these different things, all these different plays on words, it just are far-reaching. They can last for a long time. When it comes to partnerships and relationships, the worst thing that I see is, especially nowadays, is people, you know, they get to the point where they can't communicate, and then they start running to a third party, and they start talking about their issues with their own relationship, you know, with their friends and social media and coworkers, you know, instead of like talking to their partner, taking that energy and talking to the partner and you know, speaking to them and trying to resolve the issue. So, you know, they start talking, and the words that they're using with their friends and whoever else that they're venting to or whatever, you know, they end up becoming damaging because most of the times, you know, when you go to your friend and you're venting, you know, your friends or whoever you're talking to, um, they're going to try and console you. They're going to try and tell you, you know, what you want to hear. So they might not give you the best advice. You know, they might not necessarily tell you the best thing that's going to help you resolve your problems. So once again, here we have words that are going to be spoken that are probably going to be damaging. You know, sometimes your friends are you know, they have their own agenda. They're going to tell you things that are for their own benefit because now they feel like, hey, you know what? You know, I'm going to set this up to where I'm going to benefit from this. And they might not care that you're hurting and you're trying to fix your relationship. They might be like, all right, you know, now I got my friend back. So I'm going to say, hey, you go, girl. or you go, guy, and you do your own thing. Now, is this necessarily going to help you, help you resolve your problems? Probably not. You know, and then sometimes, you know, you go ahead and you spread your dirt, and then you do get back with your partner. You know, now all these people, they've heard all this negative stuff about you and your partner, whatever. They've lost respect for you. Why? Because of words. Now, I'm gonna tell you, you know, uh, in my recent marriage, I can say for certainty that that my ex-wife probably confided in a lot of her friends, you know, about things that were going on, and I, you know, I asked her to get counseling and to do all these different things so that we could work out our marriage, because I loved her with all my heart and soul, and you know, being a family man, and wanting to have my family together, you know, that's what I felt I needed to do. And you know, she literally refused. And then it turned out that her friends introduced her to the guy she's married to now. You know, maybe that was in the cards. Maybe that was just fate. You know, maybe God closed one door and opened another. However you want to look at it. But the bottom line is, you know, all these things were created by words. You know, words not spoken, words that were spoken, words spoken in the wrong context, words spoken to the wrong people. So um, it's a tough lesson that I'm learning today. You know, I'm still realizing the importance of the words that I use, and when I'm speaking to people, you know, that I'm thinking about the words that I use, because you're going to be accountable for them. You know, I mean, it says it in the Bible that basically you have to watch what you say, because you will be judged on your words. Um, you know, you have to realize that when you speak to people, if you're speaking to them badly, um, the Lord is watching you. That if you're speaking from your heart and you're speaking good, the Lord is watching you. So, um, the book of James says it. You know, James 3:5-8 says, "How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire, and the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set amongst our members, straining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, of reptile and sea creature can be tamed, and has been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With it we bless our Lord and Father, and with it we curse people who are made in the likeness of God." Now, the tongue, even though it's the smallest of all the members of the body, it can do the most damage, more than a fist, more than a kick. You know, I remember hearing words from people like, you know, you can't do that. You'll never amount to anything. You're so worthless. And those words, they stuck. You know, they stay long and deep, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, this person has little faith in me, and these words, you know, they resounded in my mind and in my psyche and in my spirit. You know, the old saying, "Sticks and stones, you know, may break my bones, but words can never hurt me." That is so untrue. You know, wounds from sticks and stones, you know, can heal. But there are words that have been told to me that I'm telling you, to this day, I'm almost 50 years old, and they still hurt. They still haven't healed. Proverbs 18-21. "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits." Sometimes it is the words that are not spoken that can be just as harmful, like never hearing, "I love you. You're special." I'm so proud of you. The words that are omitted, they can be just as deadly as the words that are committed to the ears of a child. And of course, this applies to grown children and to people in general, you know. Our words can condemn or justify us. Matthew 12:36 through 27. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people, you will give account for every careless word that you speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. I have to remind you, you have to guard your tongue. Because once words leave your mouth, they can't be retrieved. What goes out cannot come back. Jesus warns us to be careful with what we say to others because, you know, they can come back to haunt us. You know, and at Judgment Day, he says that for every careless or idle word we speak, we will be judged or condemned by them. By our own words, we will be justified or we will be condemned. Words can help or they can harm. We should be measuring our words carefully because we will give an account for them someday. You know, our words will reveal what's in our hearts. Matthew 12:33 through 35. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is known by its fruit. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. Think about that. Now, I know I'm a Christian. I know that Jesus Christ is my Savior. And I'm a man of God. And I praise Him daily. And, you know, I'm weak just like anybody else. We all are. My biggest weakness is words. Is the words that I use. You know, I swear regularly. I use profanities far too often. And I'm ashamed of it. You know, I'm a work in progress. People know me. You know, I've always had a potty mouth. It is a big weakness of mine. So for me to claim that I walk with Christ and use these profanities, it's a total weakness. And I'm trying to correct it. And you know, and when I say these profanities, you know, I realize them. The one that I don't do is I can't say never because, you know, I've changed, but I don't use God's name in vain. When I do use my profanities, you know, and not that I'm righteously so in doing so, but I never use His name and in place damn as His last name. It's beyond me to understand why people do that. And I have found that, you know, if I'm capable of having the train of thought to not do that, then I'm definitely capable of having the train of thought to stop and not use a profanity and find another word. But I'm weak, and I'm praying for the strength for Him to correct that, to further get me on the path that I belong on. It's true that I don't know His heart, but Jesus is saying that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Which means our words reveal what is in our heart. And so we have to be very wary of that because actions are louder than words. And so if our words are revealing what our heart is about, you can only imagine what our actions are revealing. Proverbs 12:18. There is one whose rash words are like sword thrust, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Words have meaning and they can be spoken too quickly and can be like a sword thrust into the heart of the hearers. The tongue of the wise, on the other hand, can bring healing. God's word cuts like a knife, but this is in order to heal. But rash and harmful words never do this. they bring irreparable harm to the one that they are spoken to. Proverbs 3:13:3. It's true. It says that whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. Think about that. So basically, when you just let it fly and you have no filter, well, you're going to have to deal with those consequences. But the person that's wise, that can kind of hold back and think about what he's going to say, this person is the one who's going to preserve his life. We must realize that a soft answer is going to turn away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And that's Proverbs 15:1. I'm sure you can see that I pulled up these Bible verses, and there's many that point to words. And I was kind of struck by this when I was reading the Bible, how often I was coming across these scriptures, and I realized that I'm a man of many words. Here I am sharing them with you, and for me to be lackadaisical in how I choose my words and just go ahead and just say whatever and whatever comes forth and not be wary of it, I'm not considering that at some point I'm going to have to answer to every word I've spoken, good or bad. I'm going to be judged by every word I've spoken, good or bad. So I can tell you that words are like weapons. You have to choose them wisely. And at the same time, words can be the best medicine. I am struggling every day. I have my own demons. I'm weak. I'm very weak. Um, if it wasn't for the love of my family and my brothers and my mom and my friends, I would be lost. And it's their words that lift me. It's their words that strengthen me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate when they take the time to share those words with me, because if it wasn't for that, I'd be lost. Even with all my faith and my love of God, the love of my family and the love of my friends, and the words of encouragement that I get from the people that are immediately near me are my crutch. God is my number one love, but I'm telling you, without the words from you guys, I'd be lost. So this is why I'm speaking about this, because I know how much it helps me, and I know how much words have hurt me. Words have pretty much taken a big toll on my life, from people that I thought loved me, from people that I thought were there for me, and because they didn't have a filter, and maybe they did love me, maybe they did care, but the lack of their filter, or the lack of their control, have left scars that just will never heal. And I'm sure we all have them. I'm sure every one of you has scars from words that have been spoken, or words that have not been said to you. And I'm sure we all deal with those every day. So what I'm saying to you is that You need to focus. You need to take that step. Take a breath. Don't get so wrapped up in your emotions. Use the strength of the Lord that's in your heart. And when you feel that you're going to be facing adversity and you're going to be dealing with a situation where you may let your emotions get the best of you, ask Jesus to give you the strength. Ask Jesus to put the words in your heart. Ask Jesus to speak through you so that you can say the words that need to be said without saying the words that you can never get back. So important because life is short. And the last thing you want to do is spend the rest of your life trying to make up for words you can't get back. I know I have spent a lot of my life wishing I had said this or wishing I didn't say that. And I'm telling you, it's just no way. It's no way to live. And that's why God has given us these scriptures so that we can focus, so that we can realize that our words mean so much, they carry so much weight, that we need to choose them wisely. So, I was going to go on to a whole different subject this year, and this is what God decided to have me speak to you about. I think it pertains to our family. I think we can all get something from this. Obviously, I still, want you all to love each other, and we're all about family. We're all about the unity and keeping this bond, this special bond that this family has. But I think that this is something that, because we are in the fall and winters of our lives, I think that our words have to be chosen a lot more wisely at this point. And I think that maybe it's a good time to go back, and maybe if we've told some of our loved ones some things that we didn't want to say, and we have those regrets, maybe it's time to go back and try to heal, because you have to make that peace. You have to make that peace with yourself, with your brothers and your sisters, Better to make that peace now than when you're standing in front of Jesus and he reminds you of those words. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I love you all. I so wish I could be there. I wish I could just give every one of you guys a hug. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You have no idea how much you all mean to me. I'll see you soon, hopefully. Hopefully I can find a way to get out there. But I will say cheers. God bless you all. And I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that 2016 is going to be very rewarding and fulfilling, filled with blessings for you all. I can't tell you how much I miss you. It's ironically enough, I don't have the words. I love you. God bless.